You can start.
Oh, hi. Hi, everyone. It's Amber Euler, your Mrs. Universe USA 2025, and I am so thrilled. I am with Aditi Sharma today, the newly crowned Miss International Diva and former Miss South Asia World 2023 and Miss Bharat USA 2022, proudly crowned by not one, but two Miss Universes. Everyone, help me in welcoming Aditi. How are you doing and how are you feeling after your Miss International Diva crowning?
Hi, Amber. Hello, everyone. It is so nice to be here. Amber, it's so nice to reconnect with you. And it has been such an amazing journey, and I can't wait to share a little bit more about it with you. Miss International Diva is the newest pageant brand of My Dream TV Entertainment, and I'm so excited to be the first face. Yes.
I love that. And so, fun fact, Aditi helped crown me when I won Mrs. Universe USA. And before the show got started, we were just talking about pageantry and all the great things that have come from it, like getting to meet each other. So, you've earned really amazing titles like Miss Bharat USA, Miss South Asia World, and now Miss International Diva. What has been the most surreal moment for you on your pageant journey so far?
Well, Amber, it's going to be very hard to pick one. There's been so many. And, aside from being crowned by two Miss Universes, I mean, the journey, the way that you transform, um, it's unbelievable. I started back in 2022 with a state pageant that was actually held virtually. And going into it, I had never heard of like a virtual pageant or done any pageant whatsoever. So I was really nervous getting into it, but just in a couple of months, I was competing for Miss Bharat USA, which is the national pageant. And there, Harnas Sandhu, that was the reigning Miss Universe at that time, was going to crown us and also ask us our Q&A. So, I mean, there's just been so many. And then a couple months down that, I was competing for Miss South Asia World, which was in Texas. And Lara Datta, former Miss Universe, was going to be crowning us there. And she actually asked our Q&A. And that was a tough one because we were contesting very close. Um, and there was actually a tie. So she actually asked us our tiebreaker question, which was just completely spontaneous. And it was
Wait, what was the tiebreaker question?
so the question was, if you could go back in history, what is one thing that you would change? And we were so nervous having, done our
I would change having to answer this question.
oh god, it was a hard one. It was definitely a hard one, but I mean,
But clearly you did well. Clearly you did well.
yes, and I mean, my fellow contestants were amazing as well, and everyone was so supportive. Rashmiji, Janakji, the audience was amazing. We She then decided to ask the audience who like did better, and it was like that was nerve wracking, but it was amazing because the audience was so supportive too. So it was awesome. So I don't.
Well, one thing is for sure, My Dream TV definitely knows how to put on a show. I have been part of their family now since December, and I've brought in some Mrs. Florida Universe girls, and they were like, "This is the best pageant I've ever been a part of," and I was like, "I know." It's incredible and I love it. That's wonderful. So, back to your pageant journey. Pageantry often blends beauty and purpose. What mission do you feel most called to champion?
Yeah, so there's definitely a couple that I would like to work towards, and I think that's a very doable thing, especially when you have a crown. People tend to listen, which is what makes it an even greater responsibility for pageant queens to really raise their voices. But personally, for me, I feel very like I feel a bond with young kids, and I actually was my first job at the age of 15 was of a swim coach. um, And I know this is something that we bonded over because I know that you work with kids as well around water safety. And that is something that I was also kind of championing at the time. So definitely working with kids because I think we owe it to them to shape their future. And, like,
And to make sure they have one.
exactly. Yeah. Well, yes, of course.
Well, that's like the beauty of pageantry is right. You meet so many wonderful people from all walks of life, and then you meet people that you would never have talked to, never known you had something in common. And that's kind of what happened. I do swim safety and drowning prevention, and I'm from Florida, which is definitely a water state. And I was so impressed with not only your background as a competitive swimmer, right, but also that you took it one step further and developed it into part of your platform as well with the swim safety and drowning prevention. And we were talking about how the number one cause of death for children 4 and under in the United States is drowning, and it's completely preventable through, learning how to swim, obviously, number one, and then protective barriers and, having adults around who are actively supervising, knowing CPR, and just like meeting somebody at a pageant and, having all of these wonderful things in common was just so awesome. And of course, you crowned me, and that was great. I thought that you were going to say that that was your best moment in pageantry. When
I, I was getting there.
I'm
Definitely is.
just kidding.
But
So
no, it's amazing.
tell us a little bit about your background as a competitive swimmer and how that has helped shape you for pageantry. Because I have to imagine that the determination, the work ethic, the TNTs, I call them TNTs, and there are things that take no talent, like right, like showing up on time, being prepared, having your paperwork done. How has that background in such a competitive field helped shape your pageant journey?
Yeah, so as the only child, I actually grew up playing a handful of sports. I think I played around 4 or 5. And then I decided to pursue swimming competitively at the age of 11. And you're absolutely right. It teaches you so much. I encourage every single person out there to pick a sport, play a sport, because it not only teaches you about teamwork and leadership, but it also teaches you how to be better each day. And it makes you kind of feel closer to failure in a sense, just because you know that you're going to come back stronger and there's always going to be another thing that you can win. So, it teaches you about perseverance, it teaches you about the spirit of just never giving up. So I think that has helped me tremendously in my pageant journey as well. Going into my first pageant, I still remember one of the questions that actually Harnas asked me was, "What do you think makes you stand out among the amazing young girls on the stage?" And I think, wow, every single contestant was so strong and they were so amazing. I think that something that made me different was my background in sports, just because it teaches you so many important life lessons. And I will carry that with me for life.
Yeah, and something I think about sports is I saw an interesting statistic that 91% of female executives played a sport in high school or college. And I thought, wow, like clearly sports helps cultivate you as a person. And what I think it really does that I haven't seen anybody really pinpoint is it helps you have the courage to put yourself out there, which is exactly what pageantry is. Like you
Mhm.
have to have the courage to go up on stage and say, "Hey, everybody, judge me." So tell me about how your first pageant experience was. Was it what you expected? Clearly, you did a couple. And so I'm thinking that you got bit by the pageant bug.
I did. I most certainly did. It was very addicting for me. And the first one that I contested at was the Miss Park USA, where her nose was coming. And I was really nervous going into it just because I didn't really know. And I think you said it exactly how it is. You get on that stage so that people would judge you. It is, we keep
It's
saying
crazy, right? When you think about it, you're like, why
it
are we doing
is.
that?
And we keep saying that pageantry is not all about your outfits and your makeup and all of that, but in a way it kind of also is. There's so much more to it, of course. Like, you have to bring your own personality to really shine through, and you have to have a really great purpose. But it is also that. So I mean, there's always nervousness, but you know, like you said, it's that willpower that you have to pull through, and you just have to think that I may not have a crown on my head right now, but I'm wearing one regardless. I think every single woman out there is wearing a crown regardless.
I love it. And I love Rashmi, the national director of Mrs. Universe USA and My Dream TV. She likes to say, you win or you learn. And I agree with that so much because pageantry is like, it's like you're an uncut gem. And through the process of working on your onstage question and on your walk and picking out an outfit that not only you're going to feel great in, but it's going to, display you in your best light, you start polishing yourself. And it's not always easy. And, polishing a gemstone sometimes, means that there's some sandpaper there. And so I think anybody who has the courage to come and say, hey, this is me, this is my best foot forward, judge me, like, is just such a courageous person. And I have so much respect for all the women I've met in pageantry who dare to do that because there's so many people out there who are just a little bit afraid to take that first step. So, what is something you would tell your younger self before you got into pageantry or a girl who wants to get into it but is a little afraid?
Well, I mean, I would kind of like to repeat because I think it worked out for me. I would just like to repeat and just say that, you know, as much as we've heard this over and over again, believe in yourself because that is the only thing that will not only in pageantry get you through whatever it is, but just anything. When you're standing on that stage, and even if you're very shy and you have stage fright, believe in yourself.
Yeah.
That just channel that energy, that inner energy, believe in yourself, understand what your purpose is, know what your goals are, know what you want to achieve. It's not just for a pretty crown. You can always get a pretty crown from Amazon, but you should you should really see yourself wearing that crown, owning it, and knowing what you're going to do once you have it on. So I feel like when you can visualize that and when you truly believe in your heart that I am capable of this, I'm worthy of this, I deserve this, it's going to come to you. Like
I love it. The visualization is a big one for me. One thing that's like a little pageant tip or trick for me is I like to envision myself getting crowned, right? And you know what the crown's going to look like. And it's funny because for Mrs. Universe USA, I had a different dress and I could not picture myself getting crowned in it. Like it was like a block. I was like, this isn't the dress. This isn't the dress. I can't see it. So now I tell everybody, buy the dress that you can envision getting the crown put on your head in. Because then I switched to a purple dress
yes,
and I could see it. I could see it.
yes, I remember your dress.
Oh, thanks.
I agree. Yeah.
What um what pageant tip or trick like would you give as like a little secret? Because my little secret is people ask me a lot, how do I know like what dress should I get? Should I get a blue one? Should I get a white one? I say whatever one you can imagine them putting the crown on your head in and you see yourself wearing it. So what's your little pageant tip or trick that you've learned along the way that you want to pass along?
Well, I think mine is have your cheer squad also with you. And just practiced as much as I could. I practiced in different dresses. I definitely was confused between a couple too. And, you know, like you said, you have to see yourself on that stage wearing that crown in that dress. So, I mean, I also had to explore a couple of options. I needed my team with me, people who really knew who I am to the core. So
Okay.
when I put on a dress, they know that it's me because you don't want the dress to wear you, you want to wear the dress.
That's a good point. So, okay, having a trusted group of consultants, aka friends, to give you good feedback, right? Because sometimes you put some orange dress on and you think it looks great, and your friends are like, no, no, girl. So that's helpful. And then I loved your tip of practicing in the dress. I can't believe how many pageants I've been to where they like, I don't know, it's like their dress is like my precious. And like they never ever put it on or practiced walking in it until they were getting on the stage. It was like the first time they put it on. I was like, well, no, what are you doing? So
Yeah, same thing with shoes. I see that all the time. And when
like they want to save them and for them to be perfect, but really it should be all broken in. Like you should.
absolutely, yeah,
Okay, so good tips. Have a good, trusted group of friends who you can bounce your ideas off of because it is hard in pageantry, right? You want to do stuff, you want to be different, you want to stand out, but like, okay, maybe not in a bad way though, right? And then practicing in the dresses that or outfits you're going to be wearing is a big one, right? Because you don't want to put it on and it weighs 40 pounds and you can't walk in it. That would be bad. And then, oh, another one I would say is videotaping yourself. I put my phone on the ground because that's where the judges are going to be. Like I put it like I prop it up against the corner and
yeah.
then I like hit play and then I like walk from the back to the front to the back, do my little turn, whatever. And then I go and watch it. And it's such a different perspective
Mm.
being on the ground. And I'm like, ooh, that slit's too high. It looked fine when I was looking in the mirror, but like just realizing
Yeah,
where your judges are going to be.
yeah, because the view is completely different. And I mean, with the lights and everything,
And
things.
you judge some, right?
Mm.
And
I Yes.
when you're judging, what are you looking for?
Honestly, I think when I'm judging, I am really looking for the one contestant that is trying to connect with me personally. Because when I'm sitting there, when you're sitting there, you can feel the energy. You see everything. You have a view that you get to see how the other contestants are, who's smiling, who's really smiling, who's nervous, who's not, just because you've also been through it. So I think a big one for me is I really like when a contestant is, they're all going to be nervous because I mean, we were also nervous. So that's fair. But I'm looking for the contestant that is really there, connected, knows who they are. And you can really tell that. So if I see a contestant walking towards me who kind of looks at me, gives a nice smile, looks at the audience, is having fun, I know that's the person. Because,
Okay, so what I love about that is you didn't say beauty, you didn't say body type. And that's what I'm noticing is a shift in pageantry. I do feel like in the 80s and the 90s, and maybe even in the early 2000s, it was strictly a beauty pageant. Who is the most beautiful? But it has evolved. It's about who is championing worthy causes, who knows themselves, who's confident on stage.
yeah,
And all of those things are things that are well within your control. I always say, and I mean this wholeheartedly, I don't feel like I have been the most beautiful contestant at any of the pageants that I've won, but I feel like I was the most prepared. I feel like I was confident on stage, and I feel like I have a platform that I am extremely passionate about. And I know that I can be a ripple that turns into a wave that can help make change for swim safety and drowning prevention and help save lives. And I think those things come through so much more than beauty. Of course, we initially see beauty, but then it fades back a little bit and you see the girls who are confident, who, like you said, know themselves, who are, excited to be there and look like they're having fun. That's a big one. I've judged a few pageants too, and sometimes I'm like, oh no, did your mom make you come? Like they don't look like they want to be there. And, and maybe they do. Maybe they don't know how they're coming across. And that's why I say videotape yourself.
yeah.
I used to videotape myself doing practicing. My husband would ask me an onstage question, and I'd like, have my little pretend microphone and I'd practice. And what I noticed about myself is that when he's asking the question, I was like this. And I was like, that's not good. So now I smile and I listen. You can still smile when you listen. So, like, lots of little wonderful tips. Thank you for that tip.
Yeah.
Um, and then I believe your motto is only if you aspire, you can inspire,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay, tell us a little bit about like how you developed that.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a quote that I came across when I was swimming professionally. And really, what it means is that only when you can dream it, when you can see it, when you can visualize it, can you get it. And now in today's world, it's all about manifestation, visualization, like we were just talking about. Um, so that's really what it means. Like you have to just be able to see it. Obviously, you have to work towards it. But I think all of those things don't happen if you don't have it here. Because I think everything is such a mental game, be it pageants, be it sports, be it work, whatever field you may be in, it is all mental. If you can beat yourself, if you can tell yourself that I can do this, you can do it. And I mean, you can do even better things. You can achieve even greater things that maybe you have not even, imagined. And I'm sure all of our pageant journeys have turned out to be even greater than we had expected. So, it's all about that. It starts with you seeing a crown on your head and you kind of owning it, you with your dress on, knowing your purpose, knowing what you can do, knowing what you can change, like you just mentioned, and just being able to do it. It's almost like magic. It
It's
just falls in place.
I love that. Okay, so visualization. We are big on visualization, and I like to write things down. I didn't start doing this until January 1st, 2021, when I weighed almost 300 pounds, and I wrote down, I want to compete in a beauty pageant. And I meant that year. I meant 2021, but it turns out I needed to go on a little bit of a self-exploration journey and I lost 160 pounds and I didn't ended up not competing until 2024 in my first beauty pageant. And I it all started out with like writing down my crazy dream. Like I wrote down like what's the craziest dream I could think of. And like at that point, it looked like it would be unattainable to me, but by writing it down and then subsequently writing down the steps I would need to take to win, like I wrote lose 20 pounds question mark. I still have the paper. I write down everything now. And like I write down like I will get a raise at work. I will become a director. I will do that. Like, and as I write these things down, they keep happening. So now I'm a big proponent of visualization and writing it down. And you said it so beautifully. Like, if you just start going there and you start seeing it, like it just starts happening and it's like magic. Like, what other word can we use? Like, it's magic.
There's a lot of hard work behind it, but I think it gets easier as you really like start to live your life according to the life that you want. It just starts the work starts to feel easier. It just starts to feel like a daily routine. Like this is what I do. This is what I do every day. So
Yeah, and it just starts with, like you said, believing in yourself.
exactly.
Because if you believe it, I've found out everyone else will believe it too. So I love that. What's one unexpected thing that people would be surprised to learn about you?
Huh. Unexpected thing. I feel like I've answered this so many times that I don't know if there's an unexpected thing about me. Huh. I'm gonna take a second to think about it. Well, I don't know if this is unexpected, but um, perhaps this could resonate with some people. But even despite the pageants and the amount of times I've been on stage and how confident I'll feel in my head, there are times where I am unsure. There are times where, like the plans don't work out, things don't work out, you don't feel confident, you feel like, oh, I could have done better. Um, and it doesn't go away with the crown. It's
It
constant.
might intensify. Like,
I think it does. I mean, there is an additional pressure as well, and with each pageant, like it's not like the nervousness goes away. It's still the same feeling with every big milestone that you want to achieve. There's always going to be nervousness, but I think it's just how we pull through. So yeah, I mean, I just to anyone listening, um, and I'm sure I can speak for you here as well, Amber. Like it happens with us as well. Like even to this day, no matter how many titles we've achieved, there's always going to be nervousness. But there's one thing that there isn't is disbelief. There's always, that self belief. We're always self motivated to always achieve something bigger. So
so
I
what I'm hearing is that you're just a regular person who has achieved a lot, who still can sometimes have self-doubt creep in, but what makes you an exceptional queen is that you power through it.
Yeah, I think I think all of us queens do, and that is kind of what makes us worthy, I think, of these crowns. And that way, every time we put it on, it's a little reminder of everything that we've pulled through.
I love that. Thank you, Aditi. It has been wonderful getting to reconnect with you today. Some of the happiest moments of my life, you're in those photos. So that's so fun and exciting to see all you've accomplished. I know, girl, you're right there. If I could like turn my computer, you'd see like a picture of you crowning me, and it's so cute. And I'm so happy for you to be the very first new Miss International Diva. It's going to be huge next year, and you're going to be crowning your successor, and it's going to be incredible. So make sure you all navigate to My Dream TV and to find out more about it, to get signed up because you could be next.
Absolutely. So yeah, like we just said, visualize it, dream it, and it
And you
will
can accomplish it.
happen. Exactly. And reach out to My Dream TV. Thank you very much, Amber. I love
Thank
that
you.
video that your husband had posted very proudly.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. My husband, so you said have a group of supporters. My husband's my biggest supporter. He's funny though. The other day he was like, remember when you said you just wanted to do one pageant? And I was like, well, I didn't even know when I did Mrs. Florida that if you won, you had to go do another pageant. So I think you get bit by the pageant bug, and it's funny because I like to watch first timers' journeys because you can tell people like really are apprehensive. They're like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, I don't know what got into me. And then they like go out there and they get on the stage and they get that adrenaline and they, give their answer and they get crowned. And then it's like, oh, they got bit by the pageant bug. They are in it for life. And I think that that'll probably be both of us in some way, shape, or form. We will probably be pageant adjacent forever because it's done so much for us. And thank you to My Dream TV. And it's been so lovely chatting with you all today.
Yes, it's been so lovely. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for having me, Amber. And of course, thank you, My Dream TV.
All right, bye.
Bye.